You gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You gotta live where you're almost certain you're gonna fail.
They left me, but God has somebody else for me. They hurt me, but God healed me. He's healing me right now.
The Word of God is supposed to bring correction to us so we know how we can make progress in our life.
If what they said could stop your purpose, they would be more powerful than God. Don't make the mistake in engaging in battles you're not supposed to engage in.
Always be prepared. Someone say, be prepared. To give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have.
You've set a goal, and then you determine your position. Where am I now? Next, he discovered a promise, and he asked, what promise from God can I claim?
And I had to look at myself and ask myself, are you going to let this get the best of you?
If you get up and you have something to say, and you say it stupidly, because of course you will, because what do you know, then other people will tell you where you're wrong, and then you can learn, right? And then everybody can think.
If you have a bottom line, if you know your value, if you know what you're bringing to the table, then you never, ever should take less than what you know you're worth.
When you get in a horrible situation in life, your mind, I call it my 1 second decision. When you get in a horrible situation in life, your mind immediately says, get the out of here. Everybody's does, even if you want to be there.
The desire to share can be a powerful reason for wanting to achieve. Some people do extremely well gathering up resources, so they can then be benefactors.
Do they have a greatness that's bigger than their work? Now, you don't hear about this when we talk about mentoring. This is seldom ever discussed, but I tell you, it's absolutely essential. This is going back to who mentors me.
Fail early, fail often, fail forward. You know, it's always a little bit frustrating to me when people have a negative relationship with failure. Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. You have to get comfortable with failure. You have to actually seek failure. Failure is where all of the lessons are.
I want you to begin, let's get very practical, to interrupt your self-defeating, God-dethroning self-talk with a but. And when you say but, it signals to your brain, we're moving on. We're changing the focus, because my focus is my future.
People like to hear happy messages, but they don't always like to hear messages that bring correction to their life. And God has called me to lean more toward that side of correction than just to always be preaching or teaching what I call a dessert message, just a happy message that, you know, makes everybody feel good. Now, we need both.
Since God is preparing a table in the presence of your enemies, that means there's a seat for you. When these false accusations come, rumors, slander, the best thing you can do is take a seat. Stay in peace. That's not the time to get defensive, pay them back. Well, two can play at this game. There's a big meal being prepared. Not just dinner, but a feast, a celebration.
Keeping a clear conscience so that those who speak maliciously against your good behavior may be ashamed of their slander. Be prepared to give an answer for everyone who asked you for the reason why you have hope. How are you responding this way? How are you continuing to be a blessing even though you're suffering? How are you keeping it clean when everybody else is playing dirty?
The key to reaching a goal are the steps that you lay out for it. If you don't have any steps, your goal's just going to be wishful thinking. Fortunately, God wants you to succeed in your goal setting, and He wants to guide you in the steps to your goal. He wants to share wisdom in your steps to the goal. He wants you to know the right steps to take. You just need to ask Him.
Your past doesn't define you, it refines you. It refined me to become more powerful, to become more determined, to become more focused, to become more driven. And that's where you have to be when you're going through some stuff. You don't have time to give away your power to complaining, giving away your power to having a negative state of mind. No.
Of course, people who are speaking freely are going to be offensive. I mean, have you ever had a serious discussion with anyone in your life? And I mean a serious discussion. I mean the sort of discussion you have when you're with your wife, when you're wondering whether your marriage is going to survive, or with your kids when they've done something that is really not in their best long-term interest. I mean a serious discussion. You can't even get off the ground without being offensive. You can't get off the ground without offending yourself in a conversation like that. You don't even want to admit how you feel or how you think to yourself.
When it comes to relationships, when it comes to money, when it comes to opportunities, it's about staying humble. And if you have a plan, you'll say, you know what? I'm not tripping on how much money I'm paying. I'm more excited about the opportunity. Because once I get my foot in the door, then I know sky's the limit on how much money I'm gonna be making.
If you are already knowing that this is going to happen to you, you have all the answers to these questions that your mind starts to give you when you're in suffer mode. Let's say, for shits and giggles, I'm training for a 100-mile race, and I get to mile 50, and like everybody else, my mind gets soft. Why? Because I'm human. I'm not some damn, hybrid creature that was formed from the heavens above. No, not. Human. I suffer, I don't like it, I'm uncomfortable, I don't like it.
I finally found out what negative philosophy of life I had allowed to limit me and had me turned off, and I got that cured. Then I found a long enough list of reasons to turn me on, and once the lights went on for me at age 25, they have never gone out. I've fallen out of the sky a few times, but I've never lost that drive to do something unique with my life.
I'm talking about their spirit, the persona maybe, but I think persona gets too wrapped up with charisma, and I don't like that because that's not where we're going here. Let me, I think I can illustrate it maybe better than even give you the right word. I had the privilege for about 12 years to be mentored by John Wooden. Life-changing. And he taught me incredible things. I just live everyday principles he taught me in leadership. And I said I was with a great teacher, but I was with a greater man than I was a great teacher.
When you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually seeking failure. You want to take your muscles to the point where you get to failure, because that's where the adaptation is. That's where growth is. Successful people fail a lot. They fail a whole lot more than they succeed, but they extract the lessons from the failure and they use that wisdom to come around to the next phase of success.
But God. That's how you break the chain. That's how you get set free to live beyond your feelings. That's how you break addiction, not just forgiveness, bitterness, blame. That's how you break any cycle in your life. You have got to interrupt it every time it happens. Even if you weep 5 times to get there, every time if you weep 5, you worship 5.
Unless we succeed at being ourselves, we are never going to be truly happy in life. I want to ask you a question. Who is they? It's amazing how many times we say, well, they say, well, they think. And we end up wearing hairstyle they say is what we should do right now, or whatever clothing style they say we should wear. We let they run our life and we don't even know who they are.
Now there's a seat there for you. There's a place at this table where God is going to honor you in front of those that have talked, show you favor in front of those that have made fun, promote you in front of those that tried to push you down. God is not going to vindicate you in private, He's going to do it in public. So the very ones that treated you the worst, with contempt, mischaracterized, they will see you promoted.
How do you remember the Lord is watching even when you can't see Him? How is it that you're operating not in fear, but you're operating in faith? You need to be prepared. And yes, of course, as you study the Greek of this is where we get the word apologetics, and there is no doubt that we need to learn about our faith. You need to discover your doctrine. You need to have a good answer. You need to actually learn these things. But friends, please don't miss the big idea. And the big idea is that nobody has ever been argued into the kingdom of God.
I need you to warn you about 2 things in setting up steps toward your goal. First, the larger your goal is, the more steps it's going to take. It's not going to happen overnight. I had to learn this the hard way. Whatever your goal is in your life, God's going to do that with you. Why? Because while you're growing your goal, God is growing you.
We won't get everything that we fight for, but everything we get, there will be a fight. What's driving you? Life happens. It's not fair that birds eat worms, and they do. Here's the other thing. Work on yourself. The reason that most people don't achieve their goals and take their greatness and their talents and abilities with them is because they're mentally weak.
Be free to speak, even to tell the truth, means you have to be free to be stupid and ignorant and malevolent and bitter, because that is who you are. That is what you are, because you're flawed. So the idea that, you can't use your free speech if it's offensive is just, it's an idea that is so you don't know if its naivety outdoes its malevolence. It's a real battle. Which of those two things are worse? I would go with malevolence.
Sometimes people don't see or understand your value. When you get in the door and you perform and you hit it out the park, then now you're in the position of power. You say, you know what, I accepted a low amount because I want to show you what I was made of. And now that I'm in the dough, what you're now offering me is unacceptable. You should always expect the things that you accept.
It starts to have all these different questions in your mind in that 1 second. And it says, okay, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why this? Why that? And then you start to say to yourself, if you don't want to be there that bad, I have a beautiful wife at home, man. Why the f doing this, man? Like, this is stupid. This is gonna get these guys injured. Like they're gonna pay for this for the rest of their lives. I'm not gonna break my body up to do this. Your mind starts to say, yeah, this is stupid.
Now there's another list of reasons for doing well, called nitty-gritty. Those hard little reasons that can really affect your life. Sometimes it doesn't take much of a goal to start you in a brand new life direction. I now carry a few $100s in my money clip. It's only a few $100s, but the story behind why I do it reveals one of those reasons that greatly affected me.
All those books have one thing in common: timing. Timing. You see, I read that book when that book spoke to right where I was in the timing of my journey. And so it was a great book, maybe not because it was a great book, it was a great book because the timing was right. That book was giving me what I needed for right now. That's why when we asked the question, when do they mentor us? That's a great question.
Long after I leave, the energy that I bring is still going to be here, and then people are going to take it home and they're going to affect their families with it. It's hugely important to maintain just positive, loving energy.
They say you can't change the past. That's not true. Certainly you can't reconstruct the events, but do you really think you remember it exactly as it was? And do you really believe that you are at the point in your life when you can fully understand why it happened, how it happened? After he wept, forgave, wept, forgave, wept, forgave. And you have to do that sometime. And every time you find yourself stuck in that first part.
We need to be spirit-led, not led by people. Now, that doesn't mean we should never care about what anybody thinks about anything. There are standards that we want to live by so people don't judge us and criticize us. But to be honest, if you let other people run your life, there's always going to be somebody who has an opinion about whatever you do, no matter what it is.
If you're taking matters into your own hands, upset, thinking about what they said, then you're going to miss the dinner. You're going to miss the promotion that God has for you. And it's easy to get all riled up, bent out of shape. Don't fall into that trap. Your reputation is in God's hands. There's nothing people can say, nothing they can do that can keep you from your purpose.
When I read this, and it says, be prepared to give a reason for the hope that you have, what I understand is that God, who has a bigger vantage point, and God who's telling a bigger story, and God who says all things work together for good for those that love and trust Him, I understand that every time I go through a season of suffering, suffering is creating a stage.
God is much more interested in what you're becoming than what you accomplish. Why? Because when you go to heaven, you're not taking any of your accomplishments. What you're taking with you is your character. So you need to realize that the bigger your goal is, the longer it's going to take, and there will be pacing over a period of time. Here's another thing you need to remember. In order to build your faith, God wants to build your faith.
This is a time that you have to have an optimistic mindset that things are going to get better for me. That's what you got to say. I say that in the morning when I get up. Lord, whatever I face today, together you and I can handle it. Somebody said the other day, oh, I did not know. They called me. I did not know you were dealing with cancer. I feel so sorry. Baby, no, don't feel sorry for me. You need to feel sorry for the cancer.
If you think you can have a difficult conversation without offending people, all that means is you're not having a difficult conversation. Because, well, an easy conversation, by definition, no one gets upset about that. There's no real problem. There's no real disagreement. There's no real world problem to be solved. It's just trivial. It's like discussing, last night's sports event. There's nothing to it.
You've made me feel like me disrespecting you and coming at you the way I do is acceptable. You have accepted my disrespect. So it's expected of you to continue to receive this disrespect. Anything I want to unleash on you, it is expected of you to accept it. So why are you trying to act like you got a problem with it now? When you've made me feel like everything I do, you've made me feel like, you know what, it's acceptable.
So my mind starts to get weak, and we start to forget about how badass we are. I call that the cookie jar, but it's not about the cookie jar right now. This is about self-talk. But the cookie jar kind of goes to self-talk too. Yeah. It's a piece of it. So basically what I do here is you have to make sure that your mind doesn't become spastic.
I don't want to live like this anymore. I've had it with being broke, and I've had it with lying. I've had it with being embarrassed over not having any money in my pocket. I promised myself that day that this would never happen again. I picked a day and an amount, and I said, I'll never carry less.
That's mentoring that changes life. When do they mentor me? Great question. If you were in my home office, there's a couple shelves of books. And those books are books that have marked my life. They are there on purpose because at some time in my life, I read them, they marked me, they changed me. All those books over there that marked my life, there's one word that keeps all of them on the shelf together, and that word is timing.
Be fearless. Fearless people don't deny that they are sometimes afraid. They simply understand that fear doesn't go to sit in the driver's seat anymore. Instead of being driven by fear, they are driven by passion, courage, and a sense of adventure. They understand that life is short, and they intend to savor every single moment of it. A fierce sense of fearlessness often happens at the start of any glow-up. The fearless don't ask themselves, what if I fail? They ask, what if I succeed? They dare to imagine that life favors the brave. You either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for the worthiness. Also, you need to be vivid. It wouldn't be a glow-up without a dash of boldness. When we overcome seemingly unsurmountable obstacles, we're filled with a sense of confidence and euphoria. Perhaps we've lived black and white lives, leashed of color and joy. Surviving tough times can remind us of how grateful we are to be alive. We bring that sense of vividness into our lives. We're stronger, bolder, louder, and prouder. You won't find any shrinking violets or wallflowers here. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style.
I wonder what wall you think is stopping God from doing what he's doing in your life right now.
We have to fight the good fight of faith. There's only one acceptable attitude toward fear, and it's this: I will not fear.
You will come out of it not with less respect, but with more respect than had they not tried to hold you down. What's meant for harm, God will turn to your advantage.
Joy, well, it is the strength of the Lord in your life. Joy is your strength to keep on going.
The great people, they look ahead, but the fool never looks ahead and they suffer the consequences. You anticipate what are the potential barriers between me and my goal.
Pray as if everything depends upon God, and work as if everything depends upon you. And so, part of the process is working on yourself.
Now I want you to ask yourself, what are the things that I'm doing on a daily basis that whether I want to live or I need to live?
How am I going to improve? When the crisis is over, do I come out better or do I come out bitter? Wow, that's a huge, huge issue.
Drama and dysfunction is the orchestration and works of the devil. And when things are blessed, you purposely try and figure out a way to make it stressed.
And it requires everyone to courageously confront the tyranny that's them and the unknown that surrounds them, and to work for their own benefit and for the benefit of their families and for the benefit of their communities, and to do everything they can to benefit the world and to live with true speech as the highest value. That's how we sort out the world.
It's not your fault if your partner cheated and ruined your marriage, but it is for damn sure your responsibility to figure out how to take that pain and how to overcome that and build a happy life for yourself.
No matter how far you get in life, you have to be able to go back to scratch in your mind at a moment's notice. You can never get so far beyond scratch.
Describe why it is important to you. This is a process where you either talk yourself into it or talk yourself out of it.
Question, are you gonna be defined by what stood against you or how you got over it? I'll tell you something right now. I wanna find out what's on the other side of the wall. Because people don't put up walls unless they're concerned about something on the other side. So whatever the devil has been fighting you with, I just wonder, why is he so threatened and worried about you getting through it? What's on the other side?
I didn't say you'll never feel fear. Make sure that you understand what I'm saying. You will feel fear. But feeling fear and fearing are two different things. You see, you can feel fear and yet not be afraid. Because the word fear means to take flight or to run away from. It means to shrink back.
And they're not bad people. Sometimes they're just jealous. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to let someone new in. And this is when it's tempting to get offended, get baited into conflict, live defensive. You have to stay on the wall. Leave it alone. Trust God to fight your battles.
I don't know what it is, but it seems like if we're not careful, we will miss out on joy. There's like these joy barriers, and we have joy challenges. We have things that are trying to rob us of our joy. Life is living and then waiting to live. Sometimes if we're not careful, we will just miss out on all the opportunities to actually be living.
You got to be realistic. You see, you're going to face challenges. But if you can identify those obstacles in advance, guess what? They're not going to be so intimidating. As a leader, I am always trying to think of what are going to be the next barriers to doing what you want to do, to achieving whatever you want to achieve, to having whatever you want to have. I'm not thinking about right now. I'm thinking about what are the problems we're going to have next year, 5 years, 10 years.
Things happen to you, or they can happen in you. And what happens in you is an initiative, a willingness, a determination, a stirring up of something. I said, no, this ain't going down like this. No, this is not the end of the story. No.
Sharing, and we're talking about sharing out of our personal life. Sharing is where, instead of you sit down, I kind of tell you what I think you probably need to know. If I share with you, I say, you know what, here, sit right beside me. Sit right beside me, okay? And I want you to sit beside me because I want you to experience what I experience. I want you to feel what I feel. I want you to see what I see. I want you to watch me as we're in this crisis.
Us being our own mountain. It's like, man, you know, the peaks and valleys, we got a lot of challenges in lives and mountains to climb. I suffer from it sometimes. We all suffer from it. But Are you your own mountain? Harriet Tubman said, I was able to free over 1,000 slaves. I would have freed even more slaves if they would have known that they were slaves.
We have goals on a daily basis and a weekly basis and a monthly basis, and personal goals and familial goals and social goals, but all of that has to be nested in the broader world of value. Let's say all of that has to be nested within something like, well, what is the ultimate goal? What is the final goal underneath which all of those more proximal goals are subsumed?
Fault and responsibility do not go together. It sucks, but they don't. When something is somebody's fault, we want them to suffer. We want them punished. We want them to pay. And we want it to be their responsibility to fix it. But that's not how it works, especially when it's your heart. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone.
When you accomplish something in life, if you want to go back to scratch and go back to that $7 a month place where I once lived and visit that place for a long period of time, if you were here, when you went back to scratch, you would now be here. Scratch is what makes you better. Scratch, friction, obstacles create growth. There's no friction when you're this far up in the game anymore. You think there is. That's right. When you achieve so much, the friction is minor.
When you're unclear as to why something is important, usually you put only half-hearted effort into it. What you want is a powerful motivator, but the reason why you want it is an even more powerful motivator. It has greater pull. You may find that some of your goals you thought at first glance were important are not important after all.
Tell somebody I got something to give. No, I'm not just surviving for me. I've got something special. I've got something to give. It will be the fruit of what I've been through that will preserve my purpose. Sit next to a fruitful vine.
And I just wonder how many people are here today that you're not where you should be in life because Satan has held you back with fear. You can do it afraid. That means you can feel fear, you can feel afraid, but you can still go ahead and do what you believe God wants you to do.
They put me down, discredit me, when in fact I'm trying to be a source for good, then forget it. I don't need it. I'll stay where I'm appreciated. Here's the principle again. You don't have to guard your reputation, but you do have to guard your heart. God is going to take care of your reputation. The question is, are you going to take care of your heart?
Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. What he's suggesting is that many of us, we're kind of all waiting to live. It's what Ortberg talks about, that where we get caught in this moment, like maybe some of you, you're going on vacation this summer and it's like you're kind of just miserable until you get to vacation. Some of us, like we live our whole life just waiting for Friday, and it's like Friday, now I can have joy.
Try to think through what could hold us back. What are the unintended consequences of what we're doing right now? What I'm talking about is just being a wise woman or being a wise man. The wise man looks ahead, but the fool attempts to fool himself and won't face the facts. They won't face the facts. Ever met anybody like that? They're in total denial of reality.
When I decided I was going to get another house for my mother, I had no clue on how I was going to do it. No clue. But in tradition, like my mother, I believed I could do it, and I did it. I don't tell you this to impress you, but to impress upon you, don't you throw in the towel on yourself because of what has happened to you.
Sharing basically is inclusive. It's not, I know something you don't know, I'm going to teach you, although mentoring has that, no question about it. It's kind of like, I'm going to let you on the inside. I'm going to let you see me. It's what I tell communicators all the time. And leaders, do you want fans or friends? If I want fans, I'm going to constantly make sure that my level of excellence is so far above yours that you just can applaud me, but you can say, wow, that man is amazing, but I can never achieve what he achieves.
I believe that every man and every woman individually can create a better outcome for their life, situation, career, and circumstance if they stop self-sabotaging and going out of their way to fuck up their own situations.
Most of us are also afraid of the unfamiliar.
I've never done that before. I've never lived in that city before.
There's something about free speech that's so central, but it's very useful to have it articulated and to know that this is bedrock, right? And it's not something arbitrary, and it's not a mere game that we're only playing in the West. None of that. It's the most fundamental truth that the human race has ever discovered. And we lose it at our absolute peril. And it's not death, it's worse than that, the peril. Because there are worse things than death. And the worst thing than death is hell. And we saw plenty of that in the 20th century.
As long as we're pointing the finger and stuck in whose fault something is, we're jammed and trapped into victim mode. When you're in victim mode, you are stuck in suffering. The road to power is in taking responsibility. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility.
I'm sore, I'm gonna get a massage today. I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat today. The refrigerator is always full. So your comforts are now, so your discomfort is now very minuscule to your discomfort back here in the $7 a month place. So you have to go back to the total discomfort to then raise your level of where you're at now.
Do some reflecting, refining, and revising. The point is, right now, try to have approximately 4 1-year, 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year goals that you truly believe in, that inspire you, that you've sold yourself on.
You know, we live in the days where everybody gets a trophy, everybody gets a ribbon, everybody, oh, I'm so sorry you didn't get what you wanted, you didn't get your seat, you didn't get your opportunity, you didn't get to serve where you want to serve, you didn't get the feedback you wanted, nobody told me it was good. And what made him a vine was what he climbed over. You ready? What he climbed over and what he brought forth.
Fear not. And once again, that means to take flight or to run away from. I can't always do something about my feelings, but I can do something about what I do and what I don't do. Maybe I can't help it if I feel afraid, but I can make a choice to go forward anyway, no matter how I feel.
I would hear the rumors, he's opportunistic, he's just in this for himself, he's trying to take advantage, questioning his motives, trying to discredit him. I knew him well. His heart was pure. He had great character, a person of integrity. You can have the best intentions, the purest motives, but there will always be people that try to cast doubt.
I've seen that sometimes. I can be so waiting for a new moment or a new season that it will rob me of the joy I can have right now, today. I can be living today. The other day, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like the other day, I'm going to my car. I wasn't late for a meeting. There wasn't something stressful taking place. There wasn't somebody in the hospital I was going to visit. I was just in a hurry. I don't remember anything else from the day but that, but somehow there's something inside of me that wants to rush through the motions.
What berries? I don't see any berries out there. All they can see is I've got this great dream. Have you thought about it? It's going to take money. It's going to take contacts. It's going to take energy. It's going to take time. Things could go wrong in the economy. You could have a pandemic, you know, all those kind of things. He's saying this fourth step is to stop and go, why don't I have it already? And what could keep me from getting it?
Ladies and gentlemen, there's some things that we don't have proof to verify our faith, to back up, to substantiate it. But we got to trust. We got to believe that some way, somehow, the Lord will make a way.
I want to get perspective in the crisis. I want to make sure that we have reality, but we also have hope. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to make it. It's okay. It's okay. How do they mentor me? Well, the first thing, they give me perspective. Number two, they share out of their personal life. Now, this one I just am passionate about, and I want to do a good job. I hope I do a good job for you. What I'm saying here is when I talk about they share out of their personal life, you sit down and I tell you what I think you need to know.
I got all these gifts and all these talents. I'm so ambitious. I feel like there's no opportunities in this city, state, or country that I live in. So why the f do you still live there? If you want to get into model or anything in the fashion industry, the mecca of fashion and modeling is New York City. If you're trying to get into music, the mecca is Atlanta.
To provide a definitive answer would mean that we would have to possess the classic attributes of God, at least his omniscience, to be able to finally answer, well, what is it all for? But we're still stuck with the necessity of identifying the highest level goal. And that's really the identification of that goal was exactly what our traditional religious structures were attempting to do.
Fighting yourself to maintain positivity is the hardest fight you ever gonna have, right? And it's like that struggle to just stay my course, to, you know, be the person in the world that I wanted to be, no matter what people said. And it was, I started to call it offensive positivity.
Whenever something bad would happen, that's the first thing they would do. The head drops, shoulders roll forward, they look down. That sends a direct message to your brain that I failed. I am a failure. That starts the downward spiral to being a failure. On that mountain, you can't ever recover. Your chin is not high, because that shows that you're way too proud. Your chin stays here. Your shoulders stay nice and level. Your feet firmly on the ground.
After you have determined which of your goals are 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10 year, and after you've made certain your list includes economic goals, things, and personal development goals, I want you to go back to this list again. Now pick out the 4 most important 1-year goals, the 4 most important 3-year goals, the 4 most important 5-year goals, and the 4 most important 10-year goals. Those 16 goals will give you plenty of work for now.
Few people like to suppress their temper, choose a salad over a burger, or quit smoking. Sometimes you do need to exercise pure willpower in contradiction to your feelings. Though, even in these cases, there are strategies in which you can exercise discipline up front, such as in the way you structure your environment, that reduce the need for the exercise of much discipline later on. You can also often learn to like these things you didn't like before. For example, you may think you hate vegetables, but if, through discipline, you eat them regularly and learn to prepare them well, you may actually come to enjoy their taste. It's possible to change what you want to want. Generally speaking, you shouldn't need too much discipline to pursue the basic building blocks of your life, but you will need it to go deeper and more intensely into them, and to refine their practice. So while you can significantly minimize your reliance on willpower, discipline will always need to be an active force in your life. It won't necessarily push you out the door. It won't always be guidelines that bubbles over, rather than it can manifest itself as a simple, quiet desire, a feeling of satisfaction you may need to intentionally tune into. It's not the case when you do what you love. You will never work a day in your life. Work will still feel like work, but work can be both hard and pleasurable. Discipline is necessary. Duty is necessary, absolutely. Perception is not always reality. Have you ever wondered why some of the most profound transformations in life often come from our deepest struggles? Think about a time when you faced a significant challenge. Didn't it change you in some way? What if embracing suffering could be the key to unlocking your true potential? In today's video, we're going to explore how pain and hardship can actually fuel personal growth. We will dive into philosophical ideas from thinkers like Nietzsche and Dostoevsky and see how their insights can help us turn our own suffering into strength. So grab a comfortable seat and let's start this journey together. Let's begin by exploring the paradox of suffering as a catalyst for growth. It might seem counterintuitive. After all, who wants to suffer? But suffering is more than just experiencing pain or hardship. It's a transformative experience that can lead us to new heights. When we talk about suffering in the context of personal development, we're referring to challenges that push us out of our comfort zone by distinguishing between unnecessary suffering, which doesn't serve us, and growth-oriented suffering, which helps us evolve. We can better understand its role in our lives. Throughout history, various cultures have recognized the importance of suffering in human growth. In Greek tragedies, for example, heroes often face immense trials that lead to greater wisdom and self-understanding. The story of Oedipus, who gains profound self-realization through his suffering, illustrates this point beautifully. This universality of suffering shows that no matter who we are or where we come from, we all face challenges, and it's often through these challenges that we discover our inner strength and resilience. Think about it. Adversity builds resilience. When we overcome obstacles, we become more stronger and capable. Countless stories of individuals turning their suffering into strength highlight this truth. For instance, J.K. Rowling faced numerous rejections and personal struggles before her books became a global phenomenon. Her hardships didn't hold her back. They propelled her forward, fueling her creativity and determination. And similarly, Malala Yousafzai, who survived an assassination attempt because she advocated for girls' education, didn't let this traumatic experience silence her. Instead, it strengthened her resolve. She became the youngest ever Nobel Prize winner and continues to fight for education rights worldwide. These stories illustrate that suffering can be a powerful catalyst for personal growth and positive change. It's not about seeking out pain, but recognizing that when challenges arise, they hold the potential for a transformation. Building on this idea, let's delve into Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. Nietzsche believed that we should embrace everything that happens in life, including hardships and suffering. He saw life's challenges not as obstacles to avoid, but as essential components of our journey. By accepting suffering as an integral part of life, we can find empowerment and freedom. Instead of being overwhelmed by difficulties, we can transform them into opportunities for growth, enabling us to live more authentically and courageously. Nietzsche introduced the concept of Übermensch, or Superman, representing an individual who has overcome their limitations and created their own values. The Übermensch embraces their fate, entirely using every experience, good or bad, as a fuel for self-overcoming and self-creation. So how can we apply amor fati in our daily lives? It starts by shifting our perspective when faced with a challenge. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We can ask, what can I learn from this? For example, if you lose your job, rather than viewing it solely as a setback, consider it as an opportunity to explore new career paths or develop new skills. Embracing your fate doesn't mean that you have to enjoy suffering, but rather that you accept it as part of your unique journey. And by doing so, you free yourself from resilience and open up to possibilities that you might not have considered before. There are modern examples of people who have practiced amor fati and experienced positive transformations. Steve Jobs, for instance, after being fired from Apple, the company he co-founded, embraced the situation. He started new ventures and eventually returned to lead Apple to a huge success. By loving our fate, we can turn obstacles into stepping stones and hardships into opportunities for self-development, of course. Continuing our exploration, let's examine how the Russian novelist Fyodor Dostoevsky considered suffering as a pathway to spiritual and moral growth in his works. Dostoevsky's own life was filled with hardships, financial difficulties, health issues, and even a death sentence that was commuted at the last time to exile in Siberia. These experiences deeply influenced his writings. In Crime and Punishment, the protagonist Raskolnikov is a young man who commits a grave crime, believing he's above moral law. Consumed by guilt and inner turmoil, he undergoes a profound moral awakening through his suffering. His pain forces him to confront his own humanity and leads him to seek redemption. This story illustrates illustrates how suffering can strip away illusions and bring us face to face with our true selves. It's through this painful self-examination that Raskolnikov begins to transform. And in The Brothers Karamazov, Dostoevsky explores themes of suffering, faith, and forgiveness. The characters grapple with deep emotional and spiritual pain. Alyosha, the youngest brother, faces personal tragedies that challenge his faith, yet through his suffering, he gains a deeper understanding of love, compassion, and the human condition. Dostoevsky suggests that suffering can lead to a deeper connection with others, and by experiencing pain, we develop empathy, allowing us to relate to others on a more profound level. These narratives show that suffering isn't just an individual experience, but can be a bridge to understanding and connecting with the broader human experience. Expanding our perspective further, let's explore insights from other philosophers and writers on how suffering contributes to personal growth. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote Man's Search for Meaning based on his experiences in Nazi concentration camps. Despite unimaginable suffering, Frankl observed that those who found meaning in their pain were more likely to survive and retain their humanity. He developed logotherapy, a therapeutic approach centered on finding purpose in life, even in the face of great adversity. Frankl's insights teach us that we can choose our attitude towards suffering by finding meaning. We transform our experiences and can endure hardships with a sense of purpose. Also, Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, introduced the concept of the shadow self, the unconscious parts of ourselves that we repress or deny. Jung believed that confronting our shadow is essential for achieving individuation or becoming whole. This process can be uncomfortable and even painful, as it requires us to face aspects of ourselves we'd rather ignore. However, by integrating our shadow, we become more authentic and self-aware. Modern psychology also acknowledges the concept of post-traumatic growth. Research shows that individuals who experience significant adversity can develop increased resilience, a greater appreciation for life, and stronger relationships, because adversity can challenge our core beliefs and in the process lead to personal transformation and a re-evaluation of what truly matters. Authors like Brené Brown discuss the power of vulnerability and how embracing our imperfections and struggles can lead to more authentic and fulfilling lives. She emphasizes that it's through vulnerability that we connect with others and find courage. All these perspectives suggest that suffering, while difficult, can be a powerful teacher that propels us toward growth and deeper understanding. So now what can we take away from all of this? Suffering is an integral part of the human experience. While it's natural to want to avoid pain, embracing it can lead to profound personal growth. Philosophers like Nietzsche and Dostoevsky, along with other thinkers, offer valuable insights into how accepting our hardships can transform us, and by understanding and accepting pain, we can turn it into strength and meaning. The next time you face a challenge, try to view it as an opportunity rather than an obstacle, and ask yourself, what is this experience teaching me? How can I grow from this? I encourage you to reflect on your own experiences of overcoming hardship. Think about a time when a difficult situation led to positive change in your life. Maybe you developed a new skill, discovered inner strength you didn't know you had, or formed deeper connection with others. Feel free to share your stories or thoughts in the comment section down below, because your insights might inspire others who are facing their own challenges. And remember, it's often through our darkest moments that we find our greatest light. Embrace your journey, every part of it, and discover the transformative power of suffering. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on personal growth and empowerment. Let's continue this journey together. Thank you for spending your time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.